What's doing? Welcome back, and we're sticking with our stock series. That's right, stock cars, what power they get before, what power they get after. Today we've got a Ram. Today we have a Ram 1500, stock as a rock, has an exhaust system cat back, which is a general thing that Ram people do, but nothing else in here. This is all completely stock, nothing big wheels, no big lifts, no nothing, completely stock. I've already run it up, so let's go and see what she's done. Now these are a little bit of a pain to run. They want to kick back all the time. I haven't made a trans tune for these yet to hold the gear I want to be in, so fourth is 1-to-1. We run them through in fifth so we get a nice big rev range all the way through. We start about 2 grand all the way through the rev limiter, which gets us from about 80 k's through to 160 k's. So let's have a look. So here you can see is our 191 and 413, and the power band sort of pulls all the way through. The torque, obviously, because the V8 holds a nice big flat line. But the interesting factor of these things is, hold 5. The interesting factor is this here. So you can see it goes down off the scale 10-to-1 AFRs. Like I said, it's really hard to try and get the thing to hold gear. So when I do get to go full noise, it really goes full into the deep mode here. So we'll see a little slight change here, but we'll see a nice big change here where it'll try and flatten out a little bit and get some better fuel economy under that full throttle, which then equates to better fuel economy everywhere. So yeah, so we'll do the tuning of this one now. These ones are a little bit of a pain. I pull the ECU out and I've got to zap the board. So I'll get to that. I'll show you what I'm doing so you can see that. But give me 5. I'll pull the ECU out. We'll get it on the bench. We'll zap it. We'll read the file out of it. We'll make some manipulations. We'll zap it back in, put it back in. Hopefully I only have to do it once because it's a pain in the backside to try and re-pull this thing back out and zap it a few times. So let's get stuck into it, get some changes done, hopefully get some changes in the fuel and save this guy some money. All right, so we have our KES plugged in, our board all opened up. You don't want to know how I have to do to get that thing open. It's all pinned out underneath and plugged into our KES there, which is plugged into the ECU, or it's a laptop, not ECU, and it's reading through all the different sectors here now, getting a full read of the ECU, and then we can manipulate that file, load it back in, put this cover back on there, and we can put it back in the engine bay and see how she goes. All right, some short time later, we're now riding our file back in, so we'll get this thing to zap that into there, and then we'll put that into there. All right, so we've had some wins. Took me a couple of goes to get the run nice and clean. A couple of reasons is, again, these things kick down, and 2, I'll show you. So what we do is you'll see something different here. Green is the original one that came in with, and it's sort of peaked out there, that 160 mark. And now we seem to go a lot further. What have we done here? So here now you can see the RPM range. So by turning off the speed limiter in there, we can now go out a lot further in the rev range and let us get all the way through. So I've had to step in a little bit later to try and get it to not kick down, but you can see the change of where it was going and stopped to where it is now, seeing that nice 12.5-to-1. So big change in the fuel. Yeah, that's going down to 10 and going off the scale. I can't read any lower than that, that's it. And now it's sitting there nicely at 12.5-to-1 peak power, and we've got a nice big gain. That's just me coming on the throttle up there. You won't see that while driving or feel that while driving, but now you've picked up that massive, nice gap there. No, massive. Let's talk about that. It's not massive in the world of turbos and superchargers and diesel and torque and all sorts of stuff. That's massive for a naturally aspirated car. No bolt-ons, no modifications, no aspiration, literally just a tune. Changing around timing, changing around fuel. We get more power, more torque, whole way through the rev range. Just out of a tune. This car is completely stopped. And by doing a tune, we get the RPM all the way out. So now this car can rev all the way out and not short shift where it was, allowing the car to make more power and use less fuel. So I'm just going to change the screens here now so you can see, but we were currently on engine speed via OBD. So now let's change that to, where are we? So we're in OBD, so we weren't making things up. And we'll go back to speed, what actually the wheels were doing. And we go in auto, so it's good there. So now, yeah, we're cutting off at that 160k mark because that's where the speed limiter was for 5th gear. We've turned that off. Let's go out to 210, which is then hit the rev limiter. So let it revs all the way out and making good power. Now torque here, that's our fuel there, but we can change now to our torque. So I've changed over to our torque now, and you can see again, like it's not massive gains in torque because there's no boost there, but there's more torque all the way through, and we hold it all the way through to now, 210 k's an hour, we're at 6,000 RPM. So yeah, extra 30 newton meters, an extra 30 kilowatts, and the AFR is the big changer from this top end where we go full throttle. So in the real world, where there's a little bit more, road load and all that sort of stuff, and you're in auto or you're shifting yourself, it'll, even when driving normally, it's going to use less fuel. It's going to be not much nicer to drive. It's going to rev its way out, not short shift. Especially, like I said, that's 5th gear. It was stopping at 4.5 grand and shifting through to 6. So now that can rev all the way out to 6 grand. Much nicer car to drive. Makes a little bit more power, makes a little bit more torque, but the fuel economy is where they are. Mixed results depending on who's driving, what they're doing with it, where they're driving, all that sort of stuff. Again, averaging around 2 to 3 litres per 100. I've had some say they've had 4, I've had some say they've had 2. So somewhere in that 2 to 3 litres per 100 better. Obviously the first couple of days when you're being an idiot, it's going to be a lot less because you're being an idiot and you're using extra power and torque. But once you calm down and then you realise that you can drive normally again, that's the idea. Is about 2 or 3 litres per 100. You don't need to change anything in the car. These respond really well from just stock, as they are. Do a cat back exhaust system if you want. You can see down there, that's still factory cats down there. So completely stock, nothing's changed in it. It's a completely stock drive line. It's got 130,000 Ks on it. So it's out of warranty, it's not new, nothing like that. It's just a daily driven Ram. So yeah, so if you have a Ram, we can do these for you, no dramas at all. If you do want to do bolt-ons like a supercharger, we can do that as well, no dramas at all. They're just prone to having some problems with detonation and things, so be aware of that. We've got to make sure we're using the right fuel and make sure we do a good tune on it for you so you're aware of that. Have had ones tuned elsewhere that not tuned properly, or it was 2. One wasn't tuned properly and the second one was the owner was running just the 91 or E10 and it was pinging its brains out. So be aware of that. But outside of that, they're a really good car. From my experience, I would definitely get one. V8 Rego, petrol cost, all that stuff versus a 4-cylinder, that's a bit of a different. But anyway, that's a Ram. I enjoy them. They sound cool. They make good gains out of them for doing nothing at all. And they're nice things to drive. So that's it for the Rams. Anything else you want to know about them, let me know, leave in the comments below. I'll try and get, as more cars come in, I'm going to do more. So if you have something standard you want to get tuned, bring it in. I can do you a before and after video just like this so you can see what they're doing. But I've got a few more coming in, and as they do come in, I'll do them as well. So it may not be week to week to week to week. It may be sporadically over the next couple of weeks, so we might be the next one come in. But make sure you hit that like, hit subscribe, so you see what's coming out next. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.